You're sitting there, all quiet and defeated, like the world just pulled the rug out from under you. Oh, I get it. You had plans, dreams, a picture-perfect future all painted out in your mind. Then reality came along with a sledgehammer, didn't it? Left you staring at the pieces, wondering what the hell went wrong. But here's the thing, kid. Life's not about how fancy your words are, how loud you scream, or how well you convince others that you're something special. No, it's about what you do when no one's watching. When the crowd stops cheering and the lights go out. It's about that comeback they never see coming. The one that leaves them speechless. Not because of what you said, but because of what you became. You want to shock them? Fine. Do it by rising from the ashes they left you in, not by whining about the fire. See? They expect you to stay down, to wallow, to drown in self-pity, because that's what most people do. Most people let the world break them. Let the pain define them. Let the betrayal turn their hearts black. But you're going to be different. You're going to turn that pain into power, that betrayal into fuel, and that darkness into the kind of light that blinds. Let me tell you something about this world. It doesn't give a damn about your feelings. It doesn't care how much you cry yourself to sleep, or how many times you scream into your pillow. Life will keep kicking you in the teeth until you learn to bite back. You've got two choices. Let it crush you or use it. Use every insult, every rejection, every stab in the back as ammunition. Load them into your mind like bullets and fire back with actions, not words. Look, you trusted people. That's not a sin. That's humanity. But don't act all surprised that they turned on you. Loyalty's a dying breed, kid. Most people will swear to stand by you until it gets inconvenient. They'll pretend to care until it requires sacrifice. And then they'll vanish like shadows at sunrise. That's just how it is. Don't waste time hating them. Let them see what happens when the person they left for dead comes back to haunt them. You think they care about your explanations, about why you did what you did, or why you couldn't be what they wanted. Number people believe what they want to believe. They'll twist the truth until it fits their version of the story, where you're the villain and they're the victim. So, stop explaining yourself. Stop begging for closure, for apologies that will never come. The only apology you need is from yourself. For all the times you settled, for all the times you let them walk over you, for all the times you believed their lies over your own worth. Redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about outgrowing it. You're not the mistakes you made. You're the lessons you learned. So, make them regret the day they underestimated you. Silence their doubts, not with clever comebacks, but with undeniable results. Get up, get even, But don't get even by stooping to their level. No, you rise so far above that they have to strain their necks just to see where you're at. You think it's over just because you're tired, because you're out of breath, out of hope, out of allies. Number. It's over when you say it's over. Rest if you have to, but don't you dare quit. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. The scars you carry are proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Wear them like armor, not shackles. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a spit in the face of those who wanted you to fail. Revenge? Oh, it's tempting, isn't it? But the best revenge isn't making them hurt. It's making them watch. It's forcing them to swallow the bitter pill of your success, knowing they had a hand in your downfall and couldn't keep you there. It's proving that every time they tried to bury you, they were just planting a seed. And don't you dare lower yourself to their level. Let them throw dirt. Let them talk. Let them try to drag you back down into the mud. Stay quiet. Work in silence. Your results will be the loudest thing in the room when the time comes. Speak less. Do more. Let them wonder what you're up to. Let them fear the silence. You've got demons to fight. That much is clear. But here's the twist. Those demons aren't out there. They're in here. It's the doubt, the fear, the guilt that's been festering in your mind. So, confront them. Make peace with your past. Not by forgetting it, but by using it. You didn't survive all that just to fade into the background now. Your story isn't over. It's just getting to the good part. Forgiveness? Sure, forgive them if you need to. Not for their sake, but for yours. Because carrying that hate around is like drinking poison and waiting for them to die. But forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean letting them back in. It means you stop letting them control you. Stop letting what they did replay in your mind like a broken record. It means you free yourself to move forward, to rebuild, to rise. And when you rise, don't rise quietly. Make it an earthquake. Shake the ground beneath their feet. Let your comeback be so brutal, so undeniable, that they'll have no choice but to acknowledge what they threw away. No speeches, no explanations, just results. This is your time. Your pain, your mistakes, your scars, they're all part of the story, but they're not the end of it. Stand up. Dust yourself off. Look them in the eye, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. The greatest revenge isn't making them pay, it's making them watch as you turn every ounce of pain into power. Shock them, not with words, not with threats, not with promises. Shock them with who you become. You think they've forgotten about you, don't you? Moved on, living their lives like you never even mattered. And maybe that's true. Maybe they don't lose sleep over what they did to you, over the lies, the betrayal, the way they tore you apart without a second thought. Maybe they've even convinced themselves they were right, that you deserved it somehow. But that's the beautiful part, see? Because while they're out there pretending, you're in here transforming. Pain has a funny way of remaking people. It strips you down to nothing, leaves you raw and exposed, makes you confront every ugly truth you've been avoiding. And that's where real power comes from the ashes of who you used to be. So let them laugh, let them forget, let them live in blissful ignorance of the storm that's brewing. Because the day you come back, and you will come back, they'll remember. Oh, they'll remember all right? But here's the thing. Don't come back just to prove a point. Don't waste your energy trying to convince people who were too blind to see your worth in the first place. That's where most people go wrong. They make their comeback about revenge, about showing the world that they were wrong. But revenge is a prison, kid, one that locks you into the past and keeps you from moving forward. No, your comeback has to be for you and you alone. For the version of you that got left behind, for the dreams you buried, for the fire you let die out because you thought you weren't enough. Come back, because you owe it to yourself to see what happens if you don't quit. Come back, because every breath you take is another chance to rewrite the story they thought they ended. You want to talk about pain? Fine, let's talk about it. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It doesn't come into your life to destroy you, but to wake you up, to tear apart your illusions and show you who you really are when everything else is stripped away. Most people run from pain, try to numb it with distractions, drown it in bottles, silence it with pills. But you're going to do something different. You're going to face it, embrace it, make it your ally instead of your executioner. Because here's the truth. Pain shapes people into one of two things: victims or warriors. Victims blame the world, wallow in self-pity, wait for someone to come along and save them. Warriors take every blow, every betrayal, every scar, and forge it into armor. They bleed, they break, but they don't stay down. And you're not a victim. You never were. You just forgot for a while. You let their words, their actions, their rejection convince you that you were powerless, that you were unworthy, that you didn't matter. But that ends here. Because power isn't about control or money or status. Real power is the ability to get back up, no matter how many times you've been knocked down. Real power is staring your demons in the face and daring them to do their worst. Real power is refusing to be defined by the worst things that have happened to you. So no, you're not a victim. You're a warrior who's been through hell and is still standing. Let's talk about loyalty for a second, shall we? Everyone loves to preach about loyalty until it's their turn to show it, until it costs them something, until it means standing by you when you've got nothing left to offer. The truth is, most people aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to their need of you. Once you stop being useful, you stop being seen. And that hurts, doesn't it? To realize that the ones you would have died for wouldn't even cross the street for you. But take a deep breath, kid, because betrayal is a gift. Ugly, brutal, but a gift all the same. It clears the room, shows you who's real and who's just playing a part. It cuts the dead weight so you can rise without anything holding you back. So thank them. Thank the ones who walked away, who didn't believe in you, who said you'd never make it. Without them, you might have been too busy trying to please everyone else to ever find out who you really are. And don't mistake isolation for weakness. Loneliness, that's just the world giving you space to grow. The dark isn't your enemy, it's your cocoon. It's where you build yourself back up, where you silence all the voices telling you that you can't. People are afraid of being alone because they're afraid of what they'll find when there's no one else around to distract them. But you're different. You've been through too much to fear your own company. Use the silence. Listen to the doubts, the insecurities, the regrets, and then prove every single one of them wrong. Your time in the dark is temporary. It's the preparation for when the light comes back. For when you step out of the shadows with a strength they never saw coming. Oh, they'll talk. They always do. The louder your silence gets, the louder they'll talk, trying to fill the void you left behind. Let them. Gossip is just noise, meaningless, hollow, fading fast. Your actions, your transformation, your rise, that's what will echo. People will believe lies because they're easy to swallow, because they'd rather paint you as the villain than face their own flaws. So stop trying to set the record straight. Truth doesn't need defending. It just needs time. And when it comes out, because it always does, the ones who doubted you will have to choke on every word they ever spoke against you. So get up, not because they deserve to see you rise, but because you deserve to see what you're capable of. Get up because your story isn't over. Because every sunrise is a chance to rewrite everything they tried to erase. Get up because you owe it to the person you used to be and the person you're going to become. You've got battles to fight, demons to slay, scars to turn into trophies. And when you walk back into the light, do it without apology, without explanation, without looking back. Shock them not with words, not with promises, not with speeches. Shock them with the person you become, the one they never saw coming, the one who took every stone they threw and built a throne out of it, the one who didn't just survive, but thrived. Your comeback isn't just going to silence them. It's going to haunt them. This isn't the end. This is the beginning of the part where you rise. Keep going. They'll act surprised when you come back. Oh, they'll pretend they didn't see it coming, but the truth is, They knew. They always knew. Even when they were kicking you while you were down, whispering behind your back, writing you off for good. Deep down, they knew. Because people can sense strength, even when it's buried beneath a mountain of pain. They saw the way you got up one more time, how you kept moving forward even when every step felt like walking on broken glass. But admitting that would have ruined their narrative, wouldn't it? Easier to call you crazy, weak, a failure. Easier to paint you as the villain than to admit they were afraid of what you might become if you ever found your way out of the dark. That's why they tried so hard to keep you there. Misery loves company, and people who've accepted their own mediocrity can't stand the idea of someone else breaking free. So they lie. They tell you it's too late, that you've missed your chance, that you're too broken to ever be whole again. They pile on the doubts, the guilt, the memories of every mistake you've ever made, hoping you'll crumble under the weight. But they forgot something. Diamonds are made under pressure, and the longer they press down, the sharper you become. See, most people live and die in the same place mentally, never evolving, never breaking the chains they were handed at birth. They don't want freedom, they want comfort. They don't want the truth, they want the lies that let them sleep at night. But you were never meant to be like them. You were born to defy, to question, to rise above. That's why you don't fit in, why the herd keeps pushing you away. They see a wolf trying to blend in with sheep, and it terrifies them. So stop apologizing for being different, for wanting more, for refusing to settle for a life that feels like slow death. You're not here to blend in. You're here to stand out, to burn so bright they have to shield their eyes. And don't you dare waste time hating them for what they did. Hate's a poison that only kills the one who carries it. No, let them go. Forgive them. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Because dragging around that bitterness only makes you bleed, not them. Forgive, but don't forget. Remember every lesson, every scar, every betrayal. Not as shackles, but as reminders of what you survived. Those scars aren't weaknesses. They're proof that you've walked through hell and kept going. Wear them with pride, not shame. You want to know the real reason they turned on you? It's simple. They saw the fire in you, the hunger, the potential to become everything they never could. And nothing scares small minds more than watching someone else break the limits they've accepted for themselves. They needed you to fail, needed you to stay small, needed you to be as miserable as they are. Because if you made it, then what excuse would they have for wasting their own lives? So they dragged you down, not out of hate, but out of fear. Fear that your success would shine a light on their cowardice. Fear that your strength would expose their weakness. But now, you get to turn that fear into fuel. Every time you feel like quitting, remember the ones who said you couldn't. Remember the smirks, the whispers, the eyes that looked right through you. Let it burn in your chest. Let it drive you forward. Let it sharpen your focus until all that's left is the mission. You're not here to beg for their approval or to prove them wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. And when they come crawling back, when they start acting like they were on your side all along, don't even waste your breath. Let your silence speak for you. People like that don't deserve explanations, apologies, or second chances. The ones who leave when the storm hits don't get to bask in the sunlight when it clears. Lock the door, bolt it shut, and keep moving forward. You've got bigger things to worry about than playing nice with ghosts from your past. Stop looking for closure, for apologies that will never come, for explanations that won't make the pain any less real. The truth is, they did what they did because they could. No grand reason, no hidden meaning, just plain selfishness. Accept it. Let it harden you, not into something cruel, but into something unbreakable. Because at the end of the day, you're all you've got. People come and go, promises break, love fades. But the person staring back at you in the mirror, that's your ride or die. So build that person into a fortress. Invest in your mind, your body, your soul. Learn, grow, adapt. Turn every weakness into a weapon, every flaw into a strength. And don't be afraid to walk alone. The path to greatness is always lonely. Friends, family, lovers, most of them won't get it. They'll tell you to slow down, to be grateful for what you have, to stop chasing dreams that keep you up at night. Not because they want what's best for you, but because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. Because watching you fight for more makes them question why they stopped fighting themselves. So walk alone if you have to. Walk until your legs give out, until the pain in your chest makes it hard to breathe, until every fiber of your being screams for you to quit. And then take one more step. You'll lose people along the way. That's a given. But losing people isn't the same as losing yourself. Don't cling to those who hold you back out of fear of being alone. The ones who really matter will catch up eventually. And the rest? They were just weights around your ankles, dragging you down, keeping you from flying. Cut them loose. Mourn if you have to. Cry if you must. But don't stop moving. You owe it to yourself to see what's on the other side of this pain, to find out who you could be if you didn't let anything or anyone hold you back. So get up. Fight. Not for them, not for revenge, but for you. For the kid who used to believe in miracles. For the dreamer who got their heart broken. For the warrior who's still breathing, despite every reason not to be. Get up, because this isn't the end of your story. It's the part where the hero falls, where everything seems lost, where the darkness closes in. But that's not where it stops, because the real plot twist is in the comeback. The rise from the ashes, the rebirth stronger and more ruthless than before. You think you've seen pain? You haven't seen anything yet. The real pain comes from settling, from living a life that's less than what you're capable of, from waking up one day and realizing you let your fears dictate your fate. So embrace the pain you're in now. Wear it like a badge of honor. Let it remind you that you're still alive, still fighting, still hungry. Let it fuel you to become the person they'll never forget. Not out of spite, but out of purpose. Shock them not with words, not with threats, not with revenge. Shock them with the masterpiece you become. Shock them by living a life that makes their betrayal look insignificant. Shock them by rising so high they can't even reach to pull you back down. Shock them with your comeback, because in the end, that's the only revenge worth having. Becoming everything they said you couldn't. Keep going. Your story's just getting started. And when you stand there, finally at the summit of everything they said you'd never reach, with the wind in your face and the world beneath your feet, you'll realize that it was never about proving them wrong. No, that was just the bait, the spark that got you moving. The real war was always against yourself, against the version of you that almost gave in, that almost let the darkness win, that almost swallowed every lie they fed you. It was about proving to the face in the mirror that you could, that you would, that every sleepless night, every tear bitten back, every bridge burned was worth it, that you could take every stone they threw, every door they slammed, every name they called you, and build a throne out of it. And that's the irony, isn't it? The ones who tried the hardest to keep you down are the reason you rose. Every betrayal was just another log on the fire. Every doubt just more fuel for the engine. Every goodbye just a reminder that the only person you can really count on is yourself. They gave you the tools to build the very empire they wanted to destroy. That's the punchline. They sharpened the blade that's about to cut them down. Because people don't break you. They break illusions. They strip away the lies you tell yourself about who's real, who's loyal, who's worth your time. And when the smoke clears, you're left with something solid, something real, something unbreakable. So don't curse the ones who left. Thank them. Thank them for showing you who you don't want to be, for teaching you that love without loyalty is poison, that apologies without change are manipulation, that some people can't breathe unless they're standing on someone else's neck. Thank them for every sleepless night, every unanswered text, every promise broken without a second thought. Because those were the moments that turned your spine to steel, that burned away the softness that kept letting them in, that taught you to build walls high enough to keep out the ones who only show up when it's easy. And that emptiness you feel, that ache that comes when the noise dies down, and the only voice left is your own, that's not loneliness, that's space. Space to rebuild, to fill with something better, something real. Most people spend their whole lives afraid of that silence, afraid to face themselves without a crowd to hide behind. They jump from distraction to distraction, from person to person, desperate for anything that drowns out the voice in their head telling them that something's wrong, but not you. You're going to sit with that silence. You're going to learn to love it, to use it, to sharpen it into a blade that cuts through every lie they try to sell you. Because peace isn't the absence of pain. It's learning to live above it. And make no mistake, they will try to come back. Not because they've changed, not because they're sorry, but because they see the glow up. Because they see that you're building something they can't touch, that you're rising without them, that their absence didn't cripple you like they hoped it would. They'll test the locks, knock on old doors, whisper sweet nothings wrapped in false apologies and half-baked explanations. They'll try to crawl back into your life the same way they crawled out of it. Quietly, conveniently, like their absence was just a blip instead of a choice. But you know better now. You've seen what happens when you let the wrong people sit at your table. You've watched how quickly they switch sides when the fire gets too hot. How easily they forget everything you did for them, the second it no longer benefits them. You've learned that some people only miss you when they can no longer use you. That some sorry are just fishing lines thrown out to see if they can still reel you back in. So keep the doors locked, the bridges burned, the past buried where it belongs. You don't owe them explanations, closure, or a second chance to finish what they started. And let's get one thing straight. This isn't about revenge. Revenge is for people who still care about what others think, who still lose sleep over proving a point. You're beyond that now. This is about freedom. Freedom from needing anyone's approval, from explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds, from carrying the weight of mistakes that were never yours to begin with. Freedom from living a life that fits into their narrative instead of one that makes you proud to wake up every morning. So keep building, keep rising, keep moving in silence until the results speak so loudly that even the deaf have to listen. Keep turning every insult into motivation, every scar into a story that proves you survived, every closed door into a wall that no one can climb. Keep making them regret the day they thought you were someone who could be broken, someone who would just fade into the background without a fight. Shock them not with words, not with threats, not with grand gestures. Shock them with the simple fact that you didn't just survive, you thrived. Because that's what this is really about, isn't it? Not just surviving the fire, but becoming it. Not just proving them wrong, but proving yourself right. Not just coming back, but coming back so strong, so unrecognizable, so untouchable that they can't even pretend they don't see you. And when they ask how you did it, when they try to piece together how the person they left for dead is now the one they can't escape, don't even bother to answer. Just smile. Because some answers are earned, not given. Because the ones who couldn't stand the silence don't deserve to hear the sound of your success. And when you stand at the top, don't look down for too long. Don't get caught up watching them scramble, watching them choke on their own regrets, watching them try to rewrite the history that you turned into legend. Keep your eyes forward, because there are still mountains to climb, still demons to slay, still dreams to chase. Keep moving, keep fighting, keep growing. Build an empire so vast, so powerful, so untouchable that their names are forgotten long before you reach the throne. Because in the end, that's the real shocker. Not that you came back, but that you never needed them to begin with. Not that you survived, but that you thrived. Not that you won, but that you did it without ever looking back. Shock them not with words, but with your comeback. Make them remember your silence longer than they remember their own voices. Make them see that every time they thought it was over, it was just the end of a chapter. And that the real story, your story, is only just beginning. Keep going, keep building, keep rising, because this isn't the end. This is just the part where they realize that the storm wasn't coming to drown you. It was coming to crown you.